April 4th, negotiating conflicts. Recovery is about more than walking away. Sometimes it means learning to stay and deal. It's about building and maintaining relationships that work beyond codependency. Problems and conflicts are part of life and relationships with friends, family, loved ones, and at work. Problem solving and conflict negotiation are skills we can acquire and improve with time. Not being willing to tackle and solve problems in relationships leads to unresolved feelings of anger and victimization, terminated relationships, unresolved problems, and power plays that intensify the problem and waste time and energy. Not being willing to face and solve problems means we may run into that problem again. Sub-problems with people cannot be worked out in a mutually satisfactory way. Sometimes the problem is a boundary issue we have, and there is not room to negotiate. In that case, we need to clearly understand what we want and need and what our bottom line is. Some problems with people, though, can be worked out, worked through, and satisfactorily negotiated. Often, there are workable options for solving problems that we will not even see until we become open to the concept of working through problems in relationships rather than running from the problems. To negotiate problems, we must be willing to identify the problem, let go of blame and shame, and focus on possible creative solutions. To successfully negotiate and solve problems in relationships, we must have a sense of our bottom line and our boundary issues, so we don't waste time trying to negotiate non-negotiable issues. We need to learn to identify what both people really want and need, and the different possibilities for working that out. We can learn to be flexible without being too flexible. Committed, intimate relationships mean two people are learning to work together through their problems and conflicts in ways that work in both people's best interest. Today, I will be open to negotiating conflicts I have with people. I will strive for balance without being too submissive or too demanding. I will strive for appropriate flexibility in my problem-solving efforts. I'm Herb the Addictaholic. This is the language of letting go. I run into conflicts often at work on a daily. I'm in the construction industry, so there's several trades that need to work with and around each other. So it's a microcosm of bigger and stronger and deeper relationships that I have with, friends and family, loved ones, things like that. So at work, one example would be I'm laying out something on the floor, which means I'm spray painting lines, boxes, and stuff where we're gonna put lights overhead. So as I'm doing this, I'm taking measurements and, I'm really involved and intimate with what's going on because these designs, these layout coming from the print to the ground and then from the ground to the floor have to be accurate. So I'm really, really involved. And then one of the other workers, whether it be a plumber, a framer, a drywaller, or paint, whatever, they come out and they start putting their materials on the floor that I'm trying to lay out, which inhibits me from being able to take some measurements, or maybe they're covering up some of the lines that I just made or something to that effect, but they don't realize what they're doing because they're focused on their job. And, early in recovery, I was still learning some of this stuff, and I still had some lingering anger issues and, a big ego and it's all about me situation. So some guy started laying his stuff over my floor, the floor that I was laying out. And I snapped. I lost it. And I freaking, hey, dude, what are you doing? Why are you putting your blah, blah, blah on my stuff? And I went off on him. And, he stood up and the guy was like 7 feet tall and like 300 pounds of muscle. And I didn't care, I was still yelling and just letting him have it, honestly. And he was a little taken aback and he was like, whoa, chill, bro, like this and that. And like, he got mad and he huffed and he walked off. And, I went outside and I throw my tools and I'm yelling and I'm the first person I find, I go start complaining to them about this idiot who's putting his stuff on my stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I had created a larger conflict than what was really going on. And I made things 1,000 times worse. And now I created an enemy in an area where we need to work together instead of creating a friend and finding some sort of negotiation, some sort of, compromise. And it's said if you ever take a debate class or, you learn about negotiating and compromise, like if anybody leaves happier than the other person, then it wasn't a good negotiation. So typically a good negotiation means that both people leave somewhat satisfied. You're never gonna please everybody in the party, and I have to learn that I can't always be super pleased, but I can be somewhat satisfied. And if the other person could be on that same playing field as me, not super, he got his way or didn't get his way, but this will work for us, then we're on good grounds, and then things are all right. So luckily I was in recovery, and I was going through the program, and I was going through my steps, and I learned that my daily amends was necessary. So I went and found this guy, and I apologized, and I was like, hey man, I was out of line. I'm sorry for the way I reacted. I was trying to, please my boss, and in doing so, you inhibited me unknowingly, and I snapped on you. And he gave me a hug. This big gangster, tatted up, yoked out dude gave me a hug and said, dude, it's all right. I've been there. I understand. I'm sorry for putting my stuff there. Let's go back and figure out how we can work this out. And I helped him move his stuff into a better position. And the day was great after that, So it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference learning how to, set boundaries, but not too strict and not too soft. You got to find that balance. Balance is the key to everything. So thank you guys for coming out. Hope to see you tomorrow. Keep coming back. It works if you work it.